Hi, Jamesie again. First of all, thanks so much for all the positive feedback on my first video. It was a little bit raw. I had a few comments like, "Oh, you look nervous. You were saying a lot." And what did I do straight away? I said, I kind of deliberately let it be like that because I was obviously talking about a lot of personal things I've been through in my life, and I didn't want to it to be over processed. And as time goes on, hopefully I'll improve my presentation skills and kind of maybe a few of the sort of speech impediment-y things. And I noticed a couple of times, I repeated things a couple of times. I don't know if that's my MS or not, or nerves, I'm not sure. But yeah, I quite like the rawness of it. And I was editing, and I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let it just go, let it flow, and just keep it real, because I don't want it to be, you know, I could have done it. I could have gone around my mate's mansion and sat there in this posh little place and pretend I've got this fake, incredible life materialistically, when I don't know anywhere near the money I used to. So nothing fake about me, I'm afraid. So yeah, I just kind of I kept it real and just kept it like that, and hopefully it kind of, as time goes on, it'll improve. But obviously I spoke about a few things I'm going to do on the channel, and a few of the kind of different subjects I'll be approaching, including my multiple sclerosis, which I'll kind of go into in more detail and more depth in individual videos, which basically I'm going to sort of break down the sections of what I'll be doing. So you've got a little bit more understanding about what to expect, and you'll probably see, you might want to know about exercise, you might be kind of fit as you like and not need to know, or you might not know about diet because you're a vegan and I'm not one, so one way or nothing, you don't want to hear my advice. But obviously you can pick and choose what you want to watch. You don't have to waste your time hearing about MS for an half hour, or don't have to, if you're the happiest person in the world, you don't have to talk about mental health or anything like that. So I'll just knock out these things, and you can pick and choose what you want to watch, and hopefully it'll either entertain you, or enrich you, enlighten you, or educate you, or you might just want to see my pretty little face. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Oh, and I apologise for the state of my hair and my bushy beard, but I'm at Christian Wilde's tomorrow, the legend, to get my hair done and that sorted out. So I'll be looking a lot more pretty, and I'm pretty sure I'll have a video up tomorrow night, because, as my ex keeps telling me, I'm an incredibly vain person. Obsessed with how I look and all that stuff, which is why I go gym. Nothing to do with my health, just because I'm obsessed with how I look, apparently. So yeah, we'll have I'll let you see it tomorrow. But for now, let's talk about all the important stuff. Right, so the one that a lot of people have sort of picked up on and quite keen for me to go into is the bodybuilding your mental health. Now this is kind of, you know what, I've had a lot of issues over the years. I can get myself really low really quick and really easy. When I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, I was in a really bad downward spiral, and I split with my fiance, probably the love of my life. She's a lovely girl, she still is. But yeah, no, we were really happy for 3 years. And it was, at times it wasn't, but we had a really amazing relationship, and it was kind of, I was properly in love, and it was, it was some good times. Then MS come along, and it didn't help anything, so it ended up breaking up, and I don't blame her for it either, because I was in a really bad negative place, and it's the best thing she could have done is left me, because I had a point to prove, and I had to show her that I wasn't going to be fat forever, because I put on a lot of weight, and I wasn't going to be, it hadn't all come to an end, and and everything else, and I didn't have, and I still had stuff to offer. So yeah, to prove her wrong, I went and did it, but she didn't mean it, I don't think. It was just, at the time, it was all very emotional, but like I said, she's a lovely girl, and she's doing really well, I think, and happy and stuff. So yeah, bodybuilding your mental health. Now, a lot of this is based on spiritual concepts, so Buddhism, Middle Eastern kind of principles. Yoga seems to be quite, I've tried doing it. I mean, it seems to be kind of like the go-to exercise for people like that. And if you're good at that, or Pilates, if you do that, or Pilates or anything, good for you. It's a really good way of exercising. Unfortunately for me, I did it a couple of times. It did actually really help my MS, and I might go back to it at some point. But I found a really good teacher that was at my gym, and it really helped. And then she left, and the new one, I went to see her and I explained my situation, and it was supposed to be the easy class, and it made me feel so ill. It's quite an extreme exercise, but the breathing exercise and things like that are great, and I do that a lot. If I'm finding myself getting a bit of a spiral mentally, I'll concentrate on my breathing and slow down and try and clear my mind. That is a good tip. So yeah, bodybuilding your mental health, I'll be going on, so a lot of it will be, and yogis as well. So I thought yogi was a bear, smarter than the average bear, which I am, because I've got an IQ of 155, so I thought I had a lot in common with him. But also a yogi is a sort of spiritual master, like saying the guru. And then there's Buddhism, a lot of Buddhism principles. So it'll be all about sort of thought patterns, and then ways to kind of keep your mental health in a good place, which will lead on to a few of the other things I'm going to talk about. Because exercise, diet, doing things that enrich you, detoxifying your life, living in the moment, and all that, which are all other sections to this channel, are all ways to bodybuild your mental health. Like I said, bodybuilding your mental health is very important. Everyone is so obsessed with aesthetics and how they look, and they forget about the mind and how they feel and their body. Your health is so precious, and you can have the best body in the world, but if your mind's in a bad place, you'll probably die sooner than someone that's 20 stone and smokes and eats and drinks all the time. Depression kills. It releases all sorts of nasty chemicals your body produces into your body, and it will take you down, and it will destroy you, and it will ruin you, and you'll get heart attacks and have strokes, and all those things are consequences to long-term depression and bad mental health. So it's really important. So this is an ongoing thing. I'm going through a breakup at the moment at all, and it's not been a very nice one. And you know, and I've loved her, and I've really tried really hard to try and win her back, and it hasn't worked. We had an argument this morning. He's coming towards the end, but we had a sort of quite a bad argument. Well, yeah, I think it is. We had a really bad argument this morning, and it really upset me. I had a little cry, and I was in a lot of pain, and I could have quite easily lied in bed, because stress and everything else has a knock-on effect to my multiple sclerosis. So the pain comes, and it starts hurting, and then I get in a really bad place. And so at that point, I can either sink and lie in bed all day, get really down, and be really unhappy, and just kind of poison my own body with all those negative thoughts. Or I can get up and go gym and do something productive, which is what I did. And I've eaten really healthy today and that sort of thing. And and there's other things I've done today as well that I'll come on to a later date. I'll be doing a podcast with the guy that's just sung on one of my songs I've done with Paul Emmanuel and Gavin McCall, a guy called Marcus. He's quite a spiritual person as well, and he told me something, and I've tried what he said, and it might freak you out, but it actually really worked really well. Marcus is a bit of a legend. He's vegan, but he's the most mature 22-year-old with it kid I think I've ever met. He's great. So yeah, so that's going to be the bodybuilding mental health, which is going to be quite a big thing with this. It might end up sort of taking over the whole channel, I don't know, because it's such a massive thing. When you look at Tyson Fury and what he's done, it's incredible. I know he's being over PR'd at the moment, but it's quite inspiring what he's done, to be honest with you. So the next bit is exercise. Now, as I said yesterday, I lost 9 stone. I got MS. I started eating the wrong things. I started drinking the wrong things. I started drinking too much. I was still trying to sort of persevere with my DJ career, and I was probably doing, like, you know, I've had an addiction to cocaine in the past, and obviously I don't know how that made you fat, but it did with me. It was an escape, I suppose, escape from reality. It weren't a good one, and so yeah, so exercise is the next one. So where was I? No, I got lost here. I was talking about, how have I gotten to that? But anyway, yeah, exercise. Oh yeah, I was talking about getting into negative places. So exercise. Now, I put on a lot of weight. Got diagnosed with MS, put on a lot of weight. Doctors told me not to go to the gym at the time. I was sent to see a dietitian, and it's all on this green, red, yellow sort of traffic light system. And they advise you to drink aspartame and things like that. Now, aspartame, I'll talk about that as well later today. It's poison. Don't ever drink Diet Coke. And always, anything processed food really shouldn't be in your life at all. So, again, I'll talk about all that. But aspartame, Diet Coke, any diet drinks, do not drink them. Bad, poison. May as well be smoking, to be honest with you, just as bad. But exercise is a really important thing. And it doesn't matter. I'm in a lot of pain. And it was the hardest thing I ever did, because bear in mind I used to bodybuild, and I was in really good shape at one point. Then I had cancer. Then I got in okay shape after. Never quite as well as I was before I had cancer, but I was doing all right. Exercise is absolute key. And any sort of move, be it walking, you start off, if you're in a really bad place, if you say you're 30 stone, right, you're not going to go down the gym and be able to do half hour cross trainer, step aerobics, and the stair climber for half hour. It's not going to happen. So you ease yourself into it. You build up your fitness levels. This will take time. Just because it takes time doesn't mean it's same as like when you fly to Australia, involves 2 flights and you know, it's probably 24 hours of your life. But it's the only way you're going to get there. So if you want to get to a better place with your health and your body and stuff, you have to start the journey. So if you've got, and again, I said this to her, I met a woman with MS down the gym, and she was blind in one eye, and the other eye was nearly blind as well. She's been in a wheelchair for 30 years. And I walked in, and one of the instructors come over to me. I said, Jermaine, she's been talking about you. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Not knowing what was going on. And she goes, oh, was that lady over there in the wheelchair? I looked over. She's got MS. My heart went a little bit, because it's always kind of, when you see how bad multiple sclerosis can get, there's a little bit of fear there, because you know, you kind of, what if, let me just check this is recording. It is! At the moment then, I was really worried. Well, I thought if I've just waffled on, and if it's not recorded, I'll be really upset. Now, where was I? Yes, this lady. So I've kind of gone over to talk to her, and they're giving her a bit of background on me. And I've sort of, she's in a wheelchair, so I've knelt down and I've held her hand. And she's about 80, I'd say. And she starts talking to me. She started explaining what it was. And she's got MS. She's had it for 35 years or something. She's been in a wheelchair for 25 of those. And she started to say to me, how do I cope with it? And has exercise helped me? And I started talking to her, and I said, yeah, you know, diet's really important, and it is, and nutrition. And I said, it's not anything the doctors have told me, but I found kind of like foods that help. I found supplements that help. Exercise has helped. I explained that I'd kind of lost the 9 stone, and you know, it's not something you ever. Your health and your physical, you know, your health and your diet and everything. It's a thing that you can never. It has to be forever. It's not. As I said yesterday about diets. You don't do it to lose a stone and then go back to how you were before. You make a change and you stick to it. So whatever you choose to do, make sure you like it. Make sure you enjoy it. Make sure it's manageable. Make sure it's feasible for you to do. Okay. So I started talking about that. And bear in mind, she's in a wheelchair. She hasn't walked for 25 years. And she asked about the supplements. I talked to her about spirulina. Her husband was with her, who pushed her around in the wheelchair. And they gave me their phone number and their email address. And we spoke for a little bit. And she actually walked. And she said, what do you think exercise will do for me? And I remember saying to her, and I've said this to people ever since, I said it off the cuff, just there and then I'll come up with it. I said, you might have 10 minutes to live, you might have 10 weeks, you might have 10 years, yeah, or you might have 100 years. But you have to make the very most of every moment of what's left. And to do what you're about to do by taking on exercise, hopefully looking at diet and stuff, like I'm kind of going to try and, you know, hopefully inspire you to sort of do with a few ideas. You're going to give yourself the best chance to make the most of however long it is you've got left. And she, you know, she took my hand and she squeezed it. And she said to me, "Will you help me?" And you know what? I nearly broke down. I went out to the car. I hadn't even been in the gym yet. And I went back out to the car. So I've stopped driving because of my MS, by the way, because it kind of like I had to make that decision, just out of responsibility that I wasn't well enough to drive. I had a couple of incidents that made me realise that. So I went out to the car and I broke down. I really did. I just cried because I was looking into potentially my future, but at the same time, you know, she's kind of, I almost felt guilt that I was doing all right. It hurt, you know, all the symptoms are there. I'm doing all right. I've had an MS about 5 years at that point. I was doing okay, you know, and I felt a little bit of guilt because she's quite a long way down the line and she's not going to get to where I am. But yeah, it was just, I thought, and it was quite hard. But then about 3 weeks later, I saw her a couple of times in the gym, and she had a personal trainer that she was doing. Her husband was always with her. And I saw her about 3 or 4 weeks later, and she called me over, she was all excited. So I bent down again, she was in a chair, and I bent down, I got her hand again. And she said to me, "James, guess what?" I was like, "What?" She took my first steps today in 25 years. And those tears come back. She goes, "I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for you." And you know how good that made me feel. And that's one of the reasons I'm here doing this channel now, you know, because, you know, I helped. No, I haven't even seen her, I don't think, since that day. But just to see her, just to hear that and see her face and her smile and how happy she was, and just the thought that, you know, that little conversation that I had with her inspired her to do that. You know, it made me feel so good. And I still, like, you know, whenever I'm feeling a little bit low, I think back to that. And yeah, it does make you feel good. But anyway, so yeah, exercise. As I say, for me, I've lost 9 stone. I had a really bad relapse about 2 years ago, and I've lost feeling, like I said yesterday, down the right side. And it come back to a degree. I had quite a bad little flare up a couple of weeks ago, and I was in hospital for 3 days on and off. And yeah, so the right side's numb. And it got worse 3 weeks ago, and it really got really bad. I couldn't put any weight on it, couldn't pick up a full brush my teeth or anything. And at the time, I was with, obviously, my current ex, and she's going to be my ex, I'll call her my ex. I was with Emily at the time, and yeah, and I was urinating blood clots and stuff, and that was really scary. And I had a camera go down, you know, my pride and joy, which was really hurt because they thought I might have cancer. Fortunately, it wasn't. But yeah, and then that happened. I think the stress of all that, and obviously I was in a little bit of a relationship that wasn't probably as healthy as I thought it was, and I which was triggering bad MS symptoms, which, you know, my diet went, because Emily was a lot younger than me, and we were kind of eating takeaways, drinking a lot again. I kind of like, rather than inspire Emily to sort of have a better diet and better way of life and stuff, I kind of took herself down to her level, which was a 3rd year student in London level. And yeah, and it didn't do me any good, to be fair. Although she was, I really loved her, and I you know, she'd make me happy. But yeah, it wasn't probably what I probably would, if I was to do it again, I'd do it very differently. But so got to that point, and I put on a lot of weight again. Not as much as I did initially, but I put on 3 stone. And I tried to go to the gym, but because of my numbness in my right hand, I just wasn't doing. I was just going down there and going through the motions, because I didn't want to weight lift, because I couldn't really feel the weights anymore. So I couldn't. And I'd had to, obviously, MS had already done the damage it had done. So it already kind of, compared to what I used to be able to do in the gym, I was having to do less. But I started doing, so I just didn't really bother with the weights. I was just doing cardio, nowhere near to the intensity that I was before. So I was just going through the motions, and the weight went on. Diet still wasn't great. I kind of like lost my way a little bit. And then something kind of, I had a bit of a thing happen with her, which got me really down. And that was a trigger point. So I'm like, you know what? I've got to be the best me I can be if I want to save the relationship, which was unsavable. But I use it as a kind of catalyst, which I'll go on to this at a later date, because I shouldn't have done that. I should have just focused on me, which is what I'm doing from now on. But I use it as a little catalyst to kind of push myself and get back on track. I thought, you know, I want to show you, I want to lose loads of weight, I want to look the best I've ever looked, I want to be the best I've ever been, despite what I've got, despite the fact I can't feel it. And David Lloyd launched this class called Blaze, which is a mix of mixed martial arts, boxing, interval training on a treadmill, and weight. So 3-minute intervals. You do 3 minutes on the bag, boxing bag, and other sort of exercises in that area. You've got a little weight area with a bench, and you've got these great woodway running things that are brilliant. Now, because of my balance, because of the issue with the numbness and everything else, I spoke to all the instructors, told them I can't do what everyone else does, but I've got a personal training qualification. So if I'm doing something different to everyone else, it's because I can't do what they're doing, but I will go with it myself. And I got obsessed with it. I got really obsessed with it. And I was doing like 5 or 6 classes a week, overdoing it, not eating enough. Weight wasn't coming off. And it actually started to have a bit of a negative. I started to feel good. I felt fitter. But was it, mentally, I'm not losing weight, but I'm not eating properly. And the muscle, I'm looking all right. I'm getting a bit better, but nowhere near as like for the amount of effort I was putting in, the amount of calories I was burning, nowhere near. It wasn't. Nothing was going as, I've never worked harder in harder circumstances, and I wasn't getting the results. So I thought, you know what, I need to try and add some resistance machines, some weights, and and kind of go back to kind of that. Now, bearing in mind I'm numb down this side, but you do light weights in Blaze, so okay, right, I'll take the light weight principle, and I'll go really slow. I know all this because I did a personal training course. I know the effects of time under tension on muscles. So I go really slow on negatives, or kind of like, so like with a bench press, for example, when you push up, you power it up. So you go on this sort of 3 seconds up, sorry, 1 second up, 3 seconds down. With a bicep curl, power it up 1 second, down 3 seconds. All the tension is you're fighting that weight on the way down, but you're kind of like, so you're letting the weight, you're kind of like almost letting the weight put the tension on the muscle. So that all the exercises I can go through individually. So you know what? I've lost 3 stone and I'm probably in the shape of my life. Despite the fact I'm completely numb down one side, MS has progressed a bit, obviously, and I'm probably in the shape of my life. And even I was down in the hospital completely numb, and even the neurologist was asking me how to get in the shape I'm in. And bear in mind, I'm his patient with MS, and I couldn't feel my right side. So there I am, being treated, telling the doctor, the neurologist doctor, so a consultant, what to do down in the gym. So yeah, so it's kind of, I'm all right at it. So I'll give you some ideas, and kind of, if anyone's got anything specific, please message me on Facebook or Instagram, or put them in the comments below, and I will try and cover what I can in these videos. So I want to help you out. So if anyone's got any specific questions, I've had someone say about fibromyalgia. I think I might have that as well, to be honest with you. I don't think they want to label me with anything else. I'll go over the other conditions I've got at some point, but I think I might have that as well, because I've got so many symptoms, and I don't think all of them can be explained by MS. But yeah, there's ME, there's Lyme disease, I think is similar. A lot of autoimmune diseases, you've got Crohn's, and obviously IBS, and loads of stuff. There's loads of conditions, but I can't, because I've done this disability rehabilitation component of the personal training course, I know quite a lot about it. I'm very kind of up on nutrition and stuff as well. Cardiovascular, my favourite is high intensity interval training for that. So you need to raise your heart rate up. You don't need, the great thing about doing your walking's really, I think try and walk as much as you can. I have days I can't get out of bed, and then I have days where I can, walk a fair bit. And my great grandma on her deathbed said to me, the best way to keep moving is to keep moving. And she just found out I had MS, and it was kind of, it's probably the best advice, one of the best bits of advice anyone's ever given to me. I'll never forget it. She said it right at the end of her life. She was 103, so if anyone knows, she knows. She did really well. So yeah, and so that's something. So the best way to, if you're, like as I say, best way to keep moving is keep moving. So I'll go into cardio tips, and high interval training is probably my favourite, and I'll go into the difference between that and kind of the less intense sort of versions as well, and what they do for you. But obviously important to build a good heart, and that's not just physically, isn't it? The other way as well. So we'll go all over that. Diet. Diet's obviously a big thing, and I'll do special sections on that. My diet of choice is to be as paleo-esque as possible, which is as close to how the cavemen would eat. So locally sourced food. If you're vegan, obviously that involves fruit and vegetables. If you are a meat eater, and I'm trying to eat less because I love animals, and I'll come on to that in Champagne Life and a Lemonade Budget when I talk about one of my favourite places in London to go, which is Vauxhall Farm. And it's put me off eating lambs, or never eat a goat anyway, but I definitely can't eat goats now. They're the most lovely little creatures. I want a pet goat. They're incredible. But I'll go into all that at a later date. So yeah, I'll go into the paleo principles, which is, eating as kind of, and there's a book by Dr. Wall, who she says was in a wheelchair with progressive MS, and now she's walking and stuff. And I think she probably is. She seems, there's a lot of science behind it and stuff, and she seems genuine enough. There's a TED talk on her, that's Terry Wall, I've got the book somewhere. W-A-H-L, Terry. I don't know. Hang on, it's down there. How I beat progressive multiple sclerosis. But yeah, so I'll go into that. Oh, I don't do anywhere near as strict as what they do. They eat liver and heart and all sorts, and they don't have any milk or anything. But I quite like milk. I don't eat enough. That's an issue, but I'm trying to kind of get to grips with it at the moment. So I drink a lot of. There's the farm near me that does raw milk, which is incredible. It's just so many positive good things for you. But again, I'll talk about this when I come into it. So diet will cover the paleo thing, the vegan options. I'd love to be vegan, but it's just hard, especially when you're kind of trying to build muscle and stuff. For me anyway, there's listening to your body. Now, every time you eat, right, and this goes for like your actions as well, right? When you eat, you should think what you're about to eat or drink. What am I drinking or eating? Why am I drinking or eating it? And what's it going to do for me? Right. So if I have a chocolate bar, I might be feeling a little bit low on energy. I don't eat chocolate very often, or even a can of Coke. So if it's something bad, right, you just think about, why am I having it? If I look at a can of Coke and I feel like I have energy, and there's no point in me drinking it. But I'm feeling a little bit low, I'm a little bit tired, I can look at that can of Coke, and for a quick fix, it has caffeine in it, it has sugar in it. So for a really quick fix, and I can't stand the thought of anything else at that point, I might treat myself to a can of Coke. But then you've got to also go, I could have had a banana, I could have had an apple, although they haven't got the caffeine, and then I could have had an espresso or a flat white's my new favourite, I don't mind those. So you look at the alternative. So whenever you eat or drink, and I think you should apply this can come into bodybuild your mental health as well. Whenever you do anything, think, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? What's it going to do for me? What are the consequences? That's really important. So take that, and I'll go over and over that at a later date. They're principles, again, that I need to sort of take my own advice a little bit more and kind of stick to. But yeah, they're things that I try and live to, and I'm trying harder to kind of keep on top of. But they're things that I think are important. And then the next section will be doing things that enrich you. And I'm going to give you loads of ideas of things that can enrich you. My mum got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis as well a couple of years ago. And we have the best times. We go to London and we meet up my godmother. And we go down to her and Brian have got a flower shop on Slough Square. So we go and see them. You know, we meet up with family when we can down there as well. It's only half hour from us, so it's not far. And we do loads of things that kind of, you know, we do mum and James time. We go to art galleries. We go for nice food, we go to Vauxhall Farm, we do all these great things. Again, these will come into some of them. It's a shame, Mum likes drinking a lot of coffee and she likes going expensive places. Like shopping and like Selfridges and Liberties. My family, by the way, they built Liberties. That's a long story, I'll get into that another time. So yeah, we'll go on about that. So things that enrich you. So yeah, art, animals, and again, other things that I'm talking about will come into this section as well. So there's meditation, which I'm trying to gradually get into. I do really well last week and I let it slip a little bit, but I'll get back into that. Reading, and I've got loads of great books. I know some of you can't be bothered, but it's about find something that, if it's something that really intrigues you, you'll read it. I think if you can, like Netflix, I'm getting rid of it. It doesn't do much for me, to be honest with you. I can't really watch things. So I can't sit down and watch 2 hours of TV or stuff. I feel like I'm wasting my time. But some people, it really helps them. So again, if that's one of your things to chill out and take your mind off stuff, that's great. But for me, it don't work. Try and choose things that enrich you, not Love Island and stuff. But yeah, again, it's your choice. I don't judge. Do what you want. So yeah, reading, obviously yoga and exercise and all that sort of thing. These things that will, you know, find what works for you and enriches you. Drinking, taking drugs, all that sort of thing. I don't think it's very enriching. It might serve a purpose at the time, but it also has the consequences, like what I said before about thinking about, you know, what am I doing, why am I doing it, what are the consequences. So yeah, so that is kind of, and it's the same really. Like, you know, when you were younger, you used to go out drinking or sticking whatever it was up your nose, and you'd kind of, on a Wednesday night, you'd have work the next day, or uni or whatever, and you'd be like, you know, you got up and went uni, you got shopping because you didn't get stuff done, but then you're like, well, I went out and got off my nut last night, so of course I can't. So yeah, remember that, all right? So that's what you need to kind of, again, a lot of them cross over, but I'll try and section out a little bit. Detoxifying your life is another thing I'll be doing a lot about. This comes to breakups, drugs, being around addicts, negative people, sleeping patterns, watching rubbish on TV like Love Island, or whatever else. I don't watch TV. I've got rid of my TV, you know. So anyway, that's all. I don't even know. I've never even seen it. Someone said to me, I've just made a new tune, and about 5 people have said, that should get on Love Island. Yeah, I love the money, but I ain't going to watch it. So yeah, we'll see. Oh, I'll play that tune to you sometime. That's one of the things I do to enrich me. I make music. It's one of my hobbies. Like working with Paul Emmanuel was incredible. My friend Carl G. We've done a lot of big stuff together over the years. We've had loads of stuff on Radio 1, you know. They're some of my best friends, and we make music together. I'm on a wavelength. We have such a good time. That's one of the things I do. I need to go see Carl more, really. Just lives miles away. But he's just passed his driving test. Hopefully he'll come up to me. Because I've gone down to him enough times. So yeah, no, anything like that, hobbies, and all that sort of thing, that comes under enriching your life, but detoxifying it. So, like I said, I've just come out of it had some really nice parts and had some really bad parts, and it's quite hurt me in a lot of ways. And apparently I've hurt her back. You know, I don't know how, but I think apparently I did. So you have to at some point you have to let it go. And you know, if it's meant to be, it will come back to you. Even if it does hurt. And sometimes you have to holding on to something that's poisoning you. You know, if you go to if you've got, say you've got a, I don't know, say you've got a cyst on your leg and it's making you ill, would you leave it there? Or would you cut it out? You know, and it's you might be quite fond of the cyst, but it needs to go, doesn't it? So yeah. And someone said, you know, great analogy actually. I was talking to my mate down the gym, and he says to me, you had a car, right? It's a bit of an old car, and it keeps breaking down, and you keep throwing money at it, but you really like this car. It's been your favourite car you've ever had, and you keep, you know, and it breaks down again. Then something else goes wrong. Then something else wrong. And you keep throwing money at it, and you keep throwing money at it, and it's not getting any better. And then and then the engine goes completely, and then you think, oh, shall I replace the engine? You know, it's going to cost me another £2 grand. But then, or do you just get a new car? Now, at the moment, I don't want a new car, but I kind of get what he's. I kind of got what he was saying, really. So yeah, so I think that's, you know, I mean, you might find an incredible mechanic, or the car might just spring back to life. Who knows? But yeah, at some point you've got to let it go, and that's all part of detoxifying your life and trying to get out of negative patterns and stuff. So yeah, that's going to be another section, detoxifying your life. Then there's living in the moment, which I shall go into a lot of. The champagne life and lemonade budget. Now I've got things like taste cards, and there's loads of voucher sites and stuff I know about. I'm really good at working out when the sales are, because don't ever pay full price for designer gear unless you've minted. Because all your Gucci's and your even bloody Topshop rubbish,